I've spent every day of this oil spill along the coast helping to fight back this oil. Let me tell you this. I tell the entire country we will win this war. We're in the middle of a war to defend our way of life. We will win this war. Just as we're responding to one disaster, now we're going to fight a second disaster caused by Washington, D.C. Now let's remember what happened. Let's remember what happened. When they declared this moratorium, the Washington, D.C., the Secretary, the Department of Interior, they picked their own experts. We didn't pick the experts. The oil industry didn't pick the experts. They picked their own experts. Those experts said they didn't recommend a 6-month moratorium. Listen to what those experts said. Those experts said you can do drilling more safely. The fact the federal government can't do its job shouldn't cost thousands of Louisianians our jobs. This moratorium does nothing to reduce our energy needs in this country. All this moratorium does is send more American dollars, more American jobs overseas, sometimes to countries that aren't even friendly to us. Somebody's got to explain to me. Somebody's got to explain to me how sending more dollars and more jobs overseas is good for America's economy, good for our security, good for the state of Louisiana, because I'm here to tell you it's not. This moratorium's bad for our security, bad for our economy. D.C., the President of the United States came down here, met with us in person. This is what he told us. He said this to me. He said, Governor, if people lose their jobs because of the moratorium, they can file a BP claim. I said, Mr. President, with all due respect, what if BP doesn't pay? He said, don't worry, Governor, they can file an unemployment claim. I said, with all due respect, Mr. President, our people don't want a BP check or an unemployment check. We want to go back to work. We had to educate the people in Washington, D.C. This is our way of life. This isn't some theory. This isn't something you read about in a paper. This is our way of life. We've been doing this for generations. Our parents and our grandparents have taught us how to make a living off these waters. And it is important for us to be able to teach our own children, our own grandchildren, how to continue to do that. But it's not just important for us. It is important for America that Louisiana continues to produce oil and gas and seafood and continues to harvest the rich bounty out of these Gulf waters. It is important for America that we get back to work. So I want to close with this. I've got one message to the President of the United States. I've got one message to the bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. It's very simple. We don't want a BP check. We don't want an unemployment check. Let us go back to work. Join me in saying that message to D.C. Let me hear you say it. Let us go back to work. 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 We don't want an unemployment check. Let us go back to work.